Deputy, 5 minutes.
Cormaga Count Corla. Fáiltíim rivan deis leabhar an rún ríhabhach seohannacht agus bualam dús bar a cogardas a gháil ó fiúd fad atá las mu agus a chuúla mé go bhfuil a géisteach leis an díospórach seo agus tásúla go gnáirá leis an rún an ó go bhnáirá leis an factas ar a laiad mar tá siad an treis taiisiil sús ó Roscommán chun agóid í anamh gcuine an cinenne a ghlachan rialtas an A&E san ospidéil sin a gúna. But ní híad amháin a bheith síos leis má leanan an rialtas seo don bailachatá sí treis tuairt faoi Sinn Féin. I looked at the government amendment to the Sinn Féin motion and it's a sick joke. The second paragraph refers to the government's approach to ensuring that all patients have access to timely, high-quality emergency service. What is timely about adding hours to people's journey to hospital in emergency situations, as happens when emergency departments are closed, such as what's happening and is happening in Roscommon? What is timely about sitting in A&E for hours upon hours on end, as happens in most big hospitals in this city every single day and especially at weekends? The government amendment makes no reference to any of the specific hospitals mentioned in the Sinn Féin motion. This is no wonder, because the pre-election commitments of both Fine Gael and Labour in relation to these hospitals, the likes of Roscommon, Navan, Letterkenny, Portlaoise, Loughlinstown, Portunkla, Limerick, Clonmel, Mallow and Bantry, and other hospitals, have all now been exposed for what they were: attempts to deceive the people, attempts to buy votes. Recently, the Health Minister James Riley stated that the government would be accepting the trolley watch figures of the INMO rather than the doctored figures that we had seen and we still see from the HSE and the National Treatment Purchase Fund. And that was a welcome move, and it was about time. But the Minister should also take heed of what the INMO said this week, and I quote, "The INMO reaffirms its absolute conviction that the current policy of the HSE and the Government to reduce services in some hospitals and to centralise them in major centres is ill-timed, will not succeed and will simply result in further misery for patients requiring inpatient care in a hospital bed in a proper ward." End quote. The INMO statement was based on its 6-month comparative study just published, which shows the disgraceful level of accident department overcrowding taking place in 2011 as compared to the same period in years since 2006. Regarding this year, 2011, the survey confirms that over 46,000 people were on trolleys, having been admitted to hospital in the first 6 months of this year. This marks a 20% increase on the same period in 2010. This represents a 37% increase since 2006, when it was declared a national emergency. There is a dramatic increase in hospitals in the North East region, where other services have also been curtailed and centralised into the already crowded 2 main centres. A significant deterioration is also happening in a number of other hospitals outside of Dublin. A further deterioration, as I said and I've mentioned already, in the Greater Dublin area, and that includes the major hospital in my own constituency, St James's Hospital, where numbers on trolleys and chairs in the A&E has risen continuously. Little attention has been paid to the maternity hospitals. One of the largest is the Coombe in my area, and where we have the highest birth rate in the EU. And our maternity hospitals are struggling to cope, resulting in higher numbers of caesarean sections or caesarean births, but also in less time being spent in hospitals by mothers who have given birth because they're nearly been pushed out the door to make room for other mothers who are expecting. I have spoken many times here about the situation in Crumlin Children's Hospital. The government amendment talks about providing high-quality diagnostic services. Well, Minister, with regard to the vital diagnostic service for children, what are you going to do about the 12 to 18-month waiting for endoscopy for children at the only national centre, Crumlin Children's Hospital? because all that is on the cards for that hospital this year is that they will have to curtail their services, close their operating theatre and restrict outpatients because of a shortfall in funding, despite taking on extra patients, despite being more efficient and more effective in the use of the consultants and the time that they have and the money they have. They are being punished as they have in the past under a previous government. This government has a choice, and the ministers and the backbenchers have a choice. Support the local hospitals, support the national hospitals, make a change and vote against the government amendment.